everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Sideline to Sideline on Giant TV Niagara on YouTube. I'm Chuck LaFleur, along with the lovely and talented Zeus himself, Mr. Ryan Fleming. Flexing the muscles there, buddy, as we start the show.
Brother, you know it.
And what is the occasion for you doing the little flexaroonie there?
The flexaroonie, I like that. It's a little bit better than the spinaroonie, I'm told. But no, it's all because we have the absolute honor of having with us today Chris Thorne. We have Mantis as well from CWF, Canadian Wrestling Federation Canada. This is great.
How are you guys doing? Thank you for having us here.
Welcome to the show. Boy, we've got a lot to talk about with these fine gentlemen today. Of course, we just had recently at the Scotiabank Convention Center in Niagara Falls, Resolution, and we want to talk to Chris Thorne about that because this is not the first resolution that you've had. You've had this show in the past. It's been ongoing for a while, hasn't it?
This one that just passed by was Resolution 9. So obviously next year's Resolution 10, which has got to be, we got to outdo anyone we've ever done. So next year we're actually at the Meridian Center in St. Catharines.
Hey, you heard it here first on Sideline to Sideline, Ryan.
Right there, yeah. Breaking news here. Heading to the Meridian Center. Tell us a little bit about the Meridian Center and what's different about going from the Scotiabank Center and going now to the Meridian Center in St. Catharines.
You know, it's actually funny because this was our third year at Scotia Center. And the very first year I actually went to the Meridian first. So I went to the Meridian and basically WWE was in town. And they basically didn't want another wrestling promotion within 30 days of their show. So I tried to even move it back for it, and they're like, no, we want WWE to be the first people to run in Meridian, which I understand, right. You know what I mean, it makes sense. And then for some reason, I can't remember, I was at a bodybuilding competition with one of our guys. Randy Vaughn was in the bodybuilding thing with Mindy. And I was at the Scotia Center for my first time, and I was like, what a beautiful building. And then we got talking, and next thing you know, one thing led to another, and boom, we're at the Scotia Center.
Right.
Chris, how long has CWF, Canadian Wrestling Federation Canada, how long has it been around, and what's been your involvement over the years? How did you start with it?
CWF's been around, this is actually our 24th year, so next year marks our 25th year, so it's our 25th anniversary of CWF and the 10th anniversary of Resolution.
Wow.
So it's a big thing for next year. I started with CWF. I've been wrestling 21 years, so I started with CWF 20 years ago. And I think I wrestled there for about maybe 10 years, 11 years, and then I got the opportunity to purchase the company, and you know, I did, and it's been fantastic ever since. So.
No, as a promoter, you know, from the outside, and we're fans and we're watching, we see the finished product. And when we see it, you know, I'm not saying it looks easy. I'm just saying, like, we don't get all the kind of details. What are some of the things as a promoter that, you know, the average fan isn't seeing? Like some of the hardships and obstacles, if you will.
It's actually funny because everybody we work with, you know what I mean? Everybody has a different personality, and people have different visions, and the promoter has his own vision. So it's like, you got like WWE, you got that top of the ladder, Mr. Vince McMahon. So people could walk in with, you know, like, oh, I want this direction, I want that direction, I want my match to go this way, and Vince just goes, nah, it's going this way, and that's the way it's going. So with you know, with us being a little bit smaller scale, obviously, I try to work with the talent as much as I can. So like I have a vision, I have an idea, and then I try to, you know, like say Mantis, for instance, you know what I mean? I'll be like, Mantis, I want your match to go with it. Well, he wants something else. And half the time these guys don't listen, and you know, so we're arguing back and forth, especially when we're on the road. You know what I mean? We got to pick on him because, you know, he might come out and he's, you know, you're relatively new to CWF, and so he gets in the ring and he's stiffing everybody, so now they all want to beat him up, so he's getting beat up every single day. You know, Rex is smacking him around, Jesse's smacking him around, this poor guy.
A lot of receipts coming your way, is there?
This is stuff you don't see, you know, like, you know, you know, like we had a show last night, and you know, he was in the ring with, you know, with the champ, and, you know, great match, and, you know, he ended up getting beat up a little bit. You know,
this close to becoming world champion.
That close.
We're not that close. Maybe it's this close.
The referee. That's what happened.
Was a crooked referee? That's what it was?
Yes.
Let's bring in Mantis then, guys. We want to ask you, obviously, you love what you do. You're having a lot of fun doing this, it looks like, right?
I started professional wrestling about 5 years ago, 2014. I joined, close to the mic, sorry. I joined Johnny Rod's school, the WWE Hall of Famer Johnny Rod's.
Right.
Well, I'm to do with wrestling. So.
Did you have a favorite wrestler when you were growing up that you wanted to be like?
Oh, HBK.
Really?
Right here, Shawn Michaels. I just that guy. Shawn Michaels, the Hall of Famer. Mr. WrestleMania, the showstopper.
Oh, that
Yes.
guy.
Wait. Anything of him into your ring style?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
His selling.
It's,
His selling is amazing. So, if you watch my matches, you'll see the resemblance between us selling. So, I get it.
So that's a great point you bring up, especially about Shawn Michaels and being a good seller. For those that aren't in the know, a seller is just being able to make a move work and make it look like you're really getting hurt.
Yeah.
Now, you talk about Shawn Michaels, and I think his greatest rival, that's my favorite seller of all time, would be Bret Hart.
Of course, yeah.
But when it comes to the matches though itself and having to sell, and you're pretty much putting over your competitor at that point. Is there any part of you that's like, oh man, not this guy? Or is it always just about the business? Or is there ever anything that personal gets in the way?
Personal will never get in the way of my matches. It's always business out there. I don't care if I don't like you or not. When we're in the ring, it's just all business. That's all I'm focused on. It's making the best matches of the night.
Awesome. As you said off the top, man, you've been doing this for a little while now. What are some of your more memorable matches, or what is your most memorable match so far?
I have a few of them. Okay, I got one recent. I wrestled in Panama last month, so that was amazing.
Wow.
I'm from Panama, and my grandma raised me on wrestling. We watched wrestling together growing up, so that was very special to me, and that match was awesome.
So obviously you were able to access whether WWE or WWF at the time, and you were able to access wrestling from North America when you were growing up.
Yes.
Yeah. And Brian, I know you have a question that you really want to ask Mantis about possibilities down the road, right?
Well, yeah. You know, for everybody who comes into this business, you all have that one dream match. And I'm going to ask you a two-part question here. One, who is the dream match for one independent wrestler in Ontario that you've never faced before, but you're like, I have to, like, for me to be legit, I got to face this guy?
This fool right here.
Chris Thorne.
Hey, quite a compliment there, Chris.
Calling the boss the fool. Going all Mr. T on him. I'll be a Baracus. I like it. Oh, awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, is that is it a respect thing? Is it?
Yes, of course, the respect thing, yes.
Of course. Amazing.
Of course.
So, aside from Chris Thorne, then my second part of the question would be, if I could snap my finger and you can wrestle anybody in their prime at any era, alive or dead.
HBK, Heartbreak Shawn Michaels, right away.
Do you go over? Or does he go over?
No, I go over. No, I want to beat the man. I want to beat the legend.
I love it.
Of course, a WWE Hall of Famer. Now, there is a CWF Hall of Fame, too, is there not, Chris?
Yes, there is. Yes.
Can you tell us a bit about that? How many inductees, how long that's been around for?
The Hall of Fame actually started about, I want to say 20 years ago. And there was a couple members put in. I never really met them. I met one of the guys. His name was Caveman. I don't remember his full name, and they never gave me the details. I ended up putting his name back in just as Caveman. And another person that I had the pleasure of working with for years and years was Pitbull Kerry Brown. Mm-hmm. So he's wrestled with Stampede and many tours in Japan and stuff like that. I remember when I first joined CWF, the man was, his psychology was through the roof. Like I was like Mantis back in the day, you know what I mean? Big time into selling, I could sell anything. And when I met him, it was just like, oh my God, there's this whole new world called psychology. So it's like I just for years we would travel down the road 16, 18 hours at a time, just me and Kerry, just psychology. And I remember him giving us, me and my tag partner, CK Sex, giving us this massive compliment that we were like the third top tag team that he's ever had the privilege of being in the ring with. We were third. So British Bulldogs were number 1, Heart Foundation was number 2, and we were number 3.
Nice company.
Wow.
So I was like just honored to, you know what I mean, to be put in there. And unfortunately he died, about 10 years ago, Kerry Brown. So we re-entered him back into the Hall of Fame. So the Hall of Fame has been up and running again for the last 3 years. So this is the 3rd year of the Hall of Fame. And every year we usually put about 3 people in, and then we actually have now opened it up to put 1 fan. So we put 1 fan in. This year just passed, we put a First Nation person in. Her name is Olive Harper, and she's absolutely amazing. She flies all over Canada to watch our shows. We will show up in Edmonton, and this lady will just fly into Edmonton to watch our show.
I know you guys do a lot of work in First Nations communities too.
Yes,
which
we
has got
do,
to be
yes.
a thrill for the fans when they get a live wrestling show come to the community.
Oh, it's amazing. But like with a lot of the these communities, we've been working with them for 24 years. So like they know us. We're not just some person that just came out of nowhere. Like we're kind of part of the family, I guess you want to call it. So and now we started up a brand new thing where we're actually doing donations. So we actually bring donations to some of the communities and give them, where they don't have food or clothing or stuff like that. So we actually bring them in and give them to the families that just can't afford different things. So
Nice.
Now, you have a huge fan base. You guys are traveling across Canada, up North Canada, East Coast, West Coast. You guys are everywhere. So with this big fan base, I guess the next big question is TV deal. Is there anything in the works? Is there anything you could talk about?
We can only talk about so much. We've actually been talking with APTN. So I'm hoping, down the road that they do something with us. Like this last resolution, we've had a couple guys from TSN. They were doing our commentary, and who knows, maybe something down the road with them. But I know our smaller, I guess our student show, we call it NWX, which you didn't quite climb that ladder and take that title, did you?
No.
I like the confidence.
One day.
Heck yeah.
He's still alive, though. He made it through resolution. So that's a good sign. He's still standing here.
Maybe still a little bit, but I'm still alive.
But we are going to be putting NWX. We're going to be putting them on the Fight app.
App, you're right.
Yeah. So we'll be putting their episodes on there.
Well, continued success to you guys. We can't thank you enough for coming in. Ryan, anything you want to add before we wrap up? We're just about out of time, and we have one more segment left to go on the show.
Don't hurt me.
Don't hurt you?
We haven't even mentioned what's coming up.
Don't hurt
just
me.
kind of figure, right?
We will try. We will try.
Yeah. I'm not feeling the confidence.
We're going to pause to move our cameras around here. We're going to get Ryan Fleming involved with both Chris Thorne and with Mantis. You don't want to miss this, folks. Stick around. We're back in a flash here. We're back on Sideline to Sideline here on Giant TV Niagara. I'm Chuck LaFleur. I've got the comfy chair right here, and our man of the hour is Ryan Fleming, who it's become a tradition with a lot of our guests on the show. And this week, of course, we have the CEO and a performer with Canadian Wrestling Federation of Canada, CWF Canada, Chris Thorne. Chris, what exactly are you going to be doing to our buddy Ryan Fleming over here?
Well, I walked in today and he's bragging about how many chops he's taken in life. Tyson Dukes has chopped him. This, like we were going to wake up Benoit and bring him down and chop him, but, he's one of the hardest in the business. So I figured I'm going to try to step into his shoes and help him out. But I was like, you want 25%, 50%, 75%? You want the whole 100?
Just give me the 100, I guess.
Oh, wow. Full 100. Ryan Fleming, way to go.
We'll do so.
Any last words, Ryan?
Why?
Why?
That works.
All right, you ready?
You ready? Here we go.
Oh!
Oh!
You like it?
I'm ready for...
Ryan, don't
we got one more coming
thank you for that. You want to lift your shirt and show anybody the marks? Is that possible? There you go. All right, now that was Chris Thorne. We have Mantis, who of course has been on this edition of Sideline to Sideline. You're going to do something that Ryan has never
taken this
been on the
before.
receiving end of before.
I've never even taken a bump before.
We found out he's a big.
Bumps, that's it.
That's just on Saturday nights, but here we go. Live in studio on Giant TV Niagara. It's Mantis and Ryan Fleming. Take it away, guys.
Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. I told you not to take it.
Oh! I don't want to laugh. That's the thing of beauty, man.
That was awesome. Not bad for my first super kick. I love it. Awesome.
Badge of honor.
Oh yes, we got badge of honor.
That was good.
That was nice. I like it. Thank you.
Wow.
Yes. Well, guys, come on in here.
Okay.
Come. Let's say goodbye to everybody there.
All right.
For my buddy there, Chuck LaFleur.
In the chair.
Chris Thorne, Mantis, CWF guys. This was a lot of fun and pain.
We'll do it again soon here on Giant TV Niagara on YouTube. Thanks for watching, folks.
Pleasure.